So I tell her, and she's blown away. A blanket? That's so wild. A blanket from Sears? She pauses, then, oh man, we could be talking about a big lawsuit here. Sears, for God's sakes. Big money. Do you realize that? Millions. She wants to talk, I can tell that. But I look at my notes, and I have to keep to my own program. So can you remember the date that it happened to you? She laughs, and there's bitterness in it. What do you think? Of course I can. January 12th, 3 years ago. Hard to forget a day that totally scrambles your life, don't you think? And then she needs to talk, and I listen to her whole story, how she panicked that morning, how she started to tell her parents, but then stopped. She actually lived at home 3 days after it happened. She saw her parents crying about her. She lived in her own room, learned to sneak around, learned how to carry small stuff between her arms and her rib cage. She stole her dad's savings account information, went to the public library, used the internet, and transferred $4,000 into the account she had used at college. Then she set up an account for herself at a bank in Miami and transferred the money there. She stole it because she didn't know what else to do, which tells me a lot about her and about me, because the first thing I did when it happened was tell my parents. She didn't feel like she could do that. I asked, why Florida? Why do you think? Ever try walking around naked in Denver in the wintertime? And I see why she went south. She took a plane, just rode the bus to Denver International, found a flight that wasn't too full, and walked on. Sat up in first class and stole food from people who were sleeping. At a public access terminal in a Miami library, she found a cheap apartment and paid the deposit electronically. Then you have to sign papers or something like in person. Ever see a Muslim woman completely covered in a black veil? That's what I did. No one even blinked. I wear it when I go grocery shopping, too. There's a pretty good-sized Islamic community around here. The only bad part is when I'm at the supermarket and another veiled woman comes over and starts yakking at me in Farsi or Urdu or something, and all I can do is nod and say salam, but other than that, it works great. For the past 3 years, she's been earning good money designing websites. She bought a fast computer that was delivered to her door, bought some good software, and learned how to use it. I have plenty of time. Know what I mean? And the internet, it's made for people like me, like us. You don't ever have to go outside if you don't want to. I find design jobs on the net. I work at home, I upload my projects over the net, and I get paid by direct money transfer into my accounts. Works great. What about, like, friends? She laughs, but there's a hollow sound to it. You mean like a boyfriend? Not a chance. I didn't like men that much back when they could see me. And they didn't like me so much either. I used to miss hanging out with my girlfriends from back home, but I'm over it. I had a parrot for a while, but it died, so this is simpler. I do my own thing, and that's all there is to it. What about doctors and dentists, stuff like that? The only thing I worry about is if I get really sick. I had the flu last winter for about 2 weeks, and I almost thought I'd have to go to the hospital, but I just took a bunch of aspirin and toughed it out. How about if things got serious? I've thought about that. First, I'd find a very rich woman doctor, the richer the better, and I walk into her offices wearing my black outfit. When we're alone, I'd remind her that she's required to keep my condition a secret, and I'd make her sign a promise of complete medical confidentiality. Then I'd take off my veils, and if she ever broke her promise, I'd sue her right down to her pantyhose. This lady's definitely a Greek warrior, only she's probably tougher than the guys were. So no other friends? 2, both women, people I can trust, but that's enough. Never had all that many friends anyways. How about you? Kind of the same. At first it was just my parents, then I started talking to this blind girl. Interesting. I thought about that too. So does she know? Yeah, but she's been great about everything, and her parents too. So how long has it been for you? Less than a month? Uh-huh. But I think there might be a way to reverse it. At least that's what I'm working on, and now I found you. If we figure it out, you'll be the first to know. So you really think there's a way back? I hope so. Well, let me know, okay? Absolutely I will. What's your name? Bobby. Bobby Phillips. It's nice to talk to you, Bobby. Yeah, it's good to talk to you, too. I don't know what else to say, and I'm about to sign off. Then she says, Bobby, you have to promise me something, okay? Sure. I guess so. What? I don't want you to tell anybody about me. Nobody. It's kind of too late. I already told Alicia I was going to call you. She's the blind girl. But she doesn't know anything else about me, right? Yeah, so keep it that way. Don't tell her. Tell her you couldn't reach me or something. Tell her I'm dead. Tell her whatever you want to. I don't want to lie to her. She'll keep everything a secret if I ask her to. Easy for you to say. What if she decides she needs money 2 years from now and she rats me out to some sleazy supermarket tabloid? Then what? Then I'm screwed, that's what. Alicia's not like that. Remember, she knows about me too. I trust her. But maybe that's because you're young and don't know any better, or maybe you're stupid or something. I'm about to start shouting when she says, "Sorry, I don't mean to sound nasty about this, but I've had to move twice in the last 3 years because I thought I could trust people." Things like that happen, and it makes you pretty paranoid. Well, look, if you got to tell this girl, then I can't stop you, but don't tell anybody else, and make her promise to keep it a secret, okay? It's important. Do you understand? Yes. And you promise? I promise, and I know Alicia will too. Good. So, good luck. I hope everything works out the way you want it to. Thanks, me too. And I'll get back in touch if there's any news. After we say goodbye, I flop onto my bed and look at the ceiling. I need to take stock of what I know. 3 years. She's been gone for 3 years, so this is not a temporary condition. That's one thing I know. This condition did have a specific cause, and the blanket is part of it. I'm sure of that now. But the blanket's not all of it. If it was just the blanket causing this, then more people would have been affected. Then again, maybe more were, and I just haven't called them yet. And I know that it happened to Sheila on January 12th, 3 years ago in Denver, Colorado, and it happened to me February 23rd, both in winter. Duh, big coincidence. Winter is when you use an electric blanket. But still, I've got 2 locations, 2 blankets, and 2 dates, plus 2 invisible people. And lying there on my bed, tracing the maze of cracks in the plaster on my ceiling, I face a fact. What I've actually got is only slightly more than nothing.